Yeah, so thank you so much for joining today's session. So hope everyone know that today's session is been scheduled for AZ-305 demo session. So yeah, so the expectation is would be to have that everyone to understand that is in the fundamental of Azure or fundamental of the operating system or fundamental of networking should have a knowledge. So I'm going to share my screen, then we can talk about so what are the topic we are going to talk about. So I hope you can see my screen. You just text me. Due to the crowd, I have restricted to the unmute yourself. So if you have any question, please raise your hand. Then I will allow you to mute yourself, or unmute yourself and speak. All right. So before begin with this, myself Neil have a total 12 years of experience and worked on multiple companies, which is IBM I worked on, Wipro Technologies I worked on, Microland I worked on. So currently I'm working in one of the MNC as a senior cloud architect position and handling the multiple project, which is in Windows Server, Active Directory, PowerShell automation, and so deployment part, which is using the SCCM, and Landesk. So I have this multiple skill set with me, and yeah, currently leading the design AD team, AD and Azure team. So to begin with this, as I said, so we'll be sharing for the later my LinkedIn profile. So overall, 12 years of experience. Worked on IT, worked on IBM, Wipro Technologies, and Microland. Right. So yeah, this is about all. So just have a quick introductory about myself, who I am. All right. So there is a topic we are going to discuss on Azure 305. So this 305 is a designing and solution architect. Solution architect. So this is a prerequisite is everyone must have that is before learn this. It's a prerequisite must have skill on uh, the basic Azure knowledge skill. It means it must have that is in it is Azure 900, which is fundamental. But it is generic for everyone. Should have that is in. Other one is Azure 104, which is associate cloud administrator. Then this is AZ, what we are going to talk about. Who is that? Okay, AZ-305 is a designing and solution architect. So the expectation is would be to have that is in people, so understanding that is in these two topic and some basic environment, which is networking. So in on-premises Active Directory, servers, fundamental. This must be have the knowledge on this to learn this designing. So basically, it is we are going to talk about it designing, right? It's ultimately it is not an operations point of view, as associate cloud administrator is doing the operations. Here you can do the day-to-day Azure, which is part of cloud administrator here. So in the cloud administrator in a who completed the AZ-104 and having a 2 or 3 years of experience or 4 years of experience can managing for the operation support, which is all implementing of the creating a VMs, right? Managing storage, networking. And here it is a more than 6 to 7 years of 7+ years of experience are needed So they become a that is in a solution architect eligible. So to reach this position, yeah, as I said, the prerequisites and the recommendation of overall experience should be here. So I believe, so who are joined today's session, you have that is in basic fundamental of Azure, fundamental of networking, fundamental of in Active Directory, which is overall understanding of that is in on-premises environment knowledge is most important. On-premises knowledge, it is knowledge means experience is the most important. Experience is must required. At least a minimum 5 years of knowledge is required, right? So begin to that is in AZ-305. Just have a quick introductory about it is in what we are going to talk about. So we have that is in the Microsoft designed document, which is 305. What are the topic we are going to cover? And from the examination point of view, what are the topic we need to be prepared? This is designing Microsoft Azure infrastructure solution, which is skill measured here. This is designed by Microsoft, which is updated in over the portal. And the exam passing score would be 700 marks out of thousands. So you can see this is a link here to be updated more detail. So as I said, it will be a candidate for the Azure Solution Architect Expert certification should have subject matter expert in designing cloud and hybrid solution that run Microsoft Azure, including compute, network, storage, and monitoring and security. So what do you mean by here designing? It means now when you have joined any of the project, right? Any of the company, uh, the customer, many customer willing to move into the cloud from their on premises to cloud environment. So company has already hired the like you guys who are the solution architect persons, right? He should be analyzed. It's not a directly operations point of view. So basically that the client decided to move in a cloud environment, move to in a cloud, right? It's basically we are going to talk about in Azure. The Azure is a product called as a Microsoft, right? Now we should update them. We should send them that proper information. So what is the benefit of after moving to the cloud? So this is a first level of discussion with the customer, and the discussion would be the solution architect is a frontline discussion, and after that is in the solution architect design person, right? He will be analyzing or assessing of customer environment. So what do you mean by assessing the customer environment means that is in how many servers, overall infra, how many servers willing to move to cloud, right? And what is the critical, so overall what is the critical uh, application, applications or database. So overall that is infra support, what it is there. So it will be assessing across infrastructure along with the customer along with the customer discussion, right? He will be prepare one presentation. It's a begin to before implementation, before enter to the operations, have to do for is all prepare one presentation and present the current environment along with the customer management and the supporting the service providing management. He will be technically presenting that deck, what is the environment and what is the expectation, and we have to analyze the risk analysis, right? During that time, if any physical box are there and this physical box there was no ILO, and there are some critical applications are there which is running which a legacy operating system, which is a legacy licensed. So these are all will be defined in a risk analysis, and there maybe later is going to be taken care about by paying the all additional cost has to be fixed. So once his presentation is done and everything, the agreeing to the design to start designing based on the customer requirement. So technical is going to come back here. So what's happening here now across your that customers criticality, business criticality we understood. So he will ask that is in what happened that something my environment malware is impacted, attack has happened in my environment. It's a billion crore together business are running worldwide, and how you secure my environment. Think about there is a attack happened, right? Attack means that already some malware is attacked, maybe there is a virus infected, right? Or someone hacked that environment and entire network is in under their control. So such situation, how do you manage it? So it won't be able to log in. None of the users are all administrator account, something it's been logged out. uh, Business will be impacted, and all users won't be able to log in. So how do you plan for your entire disaster? We call as a disaster, right? So it might be happening sometime an environmental effect, right? Which is earthquake, flood. This overall my entire data center or entire infrastructure goes down. So how do we manage to bring back within a timeline? So how do you save? So we have to design that is in a structure to avoid such scenarios happened. The solution architect, the job would be thinking about the next 5 years, how that will be based on the number of users increasing, number of business are increasing, right? So overall business has to be taken care and under control and managed properly without any impact. The very critical role would manage by solution architect, and we should know the reason how the customer environment is there. Proper guidance we have to provide to the people and to run the business. So overall, after this everything is done, right? So we understood that is in measuring the critical application and the database infra support, everything we prepared, and we are explaining to the customer these are the environment, these are the risk analysis. So and also based on the cost, the project will be going to handing over overall that budget will be defining from from the customer to the service provider company. Once everything is agreed, legal discussion is happened, then it will start uh, for planning, right? It's going to start for the planning. Planning means what here? It won't be a directly hit into that is in the production to move into the cloud. It will be development environment. Some people will call as a test environment, some people we call as a UAT environment. But ultimately they will not take a risk to the directly hit into the production. Slowly one by one, phase by phase they will start, and accordingly they will be preparing the document. And many things, lesson learned will be there, technical, and the vendor will be involved. Some challenges, something it will be impacted immediately, we need to fix it. So this everything will be designed by architecture team, which is solution architect team. So once it is designed, and then it will be taking care. So we'll move into the operations. So operations team will be going to handle that is in their implementation. During operations implementation, any issue is occur, the solution architect team will be there to fix it. And they will be talking to sometime what's happening, there is some dependencies, and dependencies we will not be able to fix it to in frame from our analysis. So it required for that is in a vendor. Microsoft people will be involved. So some more investigations needed, logs will be analyzed. So Microsoft, so frontline to talk with the Microsoft architecture team will be there. Then based on the solution, based on the resolving steps, we'll be updating the operations. So here it will be AZ-104 or who are having the 3 to 4 years of experience, people will be going to take care of this administration part. So this is all overall for roles and responsibilities for AZ-305. If you see this document, which is all so design, identity, governance, and monitoring solution, which is asking in an exam around 25 to 30% to understand that is in design a solution for logging and monitoring log routing solution, recommended on appropriate level of logging, recommended monitoring tools and solution. So it is all high level for designing part to ultimately, and this package would be around 40 lakh plus, 35 lakh plus package, around 8 year to 9 years of experience. People are now providing this much of package. Currently, its market is good, and only we should have that is a more strong technical skills when we reach to this position. So the uh, related people are meeting this kind of requirement who has good on on-premises Windows Server or Active Directory environment, good in automation. So people can apply these positions after completion of this training. So, so overall, if you see, this is again design data solutions 25 to 30%. So these are the topic. As I said, there's a recommended database service seizing solution, database scalability, encrypting the data, set data transmission of the data in use, right? Overall, keeping in the next 5 to 10 years of transaction, next 5 to 10 years of utilizations, number of users are increasing. Those are all a predictable environment measured by solution architect, right? Business continuity solution. As I said, there is a design a solution for backup and disaster recovery. Recommended recovery solutions, Azure hybrid and on-premises workload that meets recovery object, right? Recover levels of object, how you have to plan it. Something is impacted whole environment. How are you going to save and save your environment, right? There is a situation might happen as impacted whole environment. So solution, that's what they are paying to the more money to the people, and they should provide services accordingly. So it's a very big positions to learning here, and everyone should understand that is in what is their roles and responsibilities. And it's not only single technologies having skills for the solution architect. We must have some on premises, as I said earlier, on premises environment knowledge should be having a more strong and involved a multiple critical environment. Then moving to that is in having a skills on operations point of view, in a 104, how to configure the networking, right? How to configuring that on premises to Azure environment, which is cloud environment. So then we will be managing from the designing part based on the customer requirement, critical business environment, right? Understand that recovery solutions of containers, recommended backup and recovery solutions of compute, which is VM. Compute means VM, and recommended backup recovery solutions for database, okay, and a solution for the unstructured data. So high availability, so requirement of Azure resources availability solutions to compute. Overall, it is designing and implementation with the solution architect for the supporting environment on cloud. So again, design infrastructure solution 25 to 30%. Completely it is a design a compute solution, VMware, which is virtual machines. Overall virtual machines, workload, load balancing, and based on the applications, auto scale and scale up applications are management, onboarding applications, SSO, MFA, multi-factor authentication, single sign-on. Everything will be designed and managing by solution architect. But ultimately, the knowledge should have that is in which is portal.azure.com, when you open here, right? So you will be having knowledge on that is in how we need to design to our environment. So when you go to the there is one basic thing about to understanding that is in I have that is in my environment, on premises environment. You might aware about in on premises environment, networking is there, right? Storage is there here, right? In my on premises environment example. So in this on-premise environment, physically connected, right? We have that is in servers. So in all the critical servers, domain controls are there, database are there, application servers are there. So all are physically connected, right? Physically connected, and all storage are there, and backups, everything are running. So one of the UAT environment want to move into the cloud, right? So with the help of your connectivity, So here you are going to be managing here in a cloud. The simple example I'm going to give, that is how do you create your network in Azure, in a on-premises network is there, right? So networking team will say that is in we need to create a first in Azure. This is Azure environment, right? So until unless you have not designed anything in a Azure platform, your network, so you should be creating your VNet here, VNet, and then you should be creating your respective subnet, and based on the requirement subnet, think about, I'm going to take for example 2 subnet, it is there, and these 2 subnet are, which is example subnet A and this subnet B, right? And under the subnet we have resources. So those resources called might be, you can take example 1 VM and second VM, right? How are you going to create this entire designing? We want to have this is 2 subnet, and does these 2 subnet is going to talk each other, right? So how do you manage it? Say for example, now when you come to the Azure, right? So creating a VNet, right? Entire virtual network. So then later, how do you manage it from the on-premises to virtual network? How do you connect it from the on-premises to virtual network? Overall, we need to design with a secure manner, right? So basically, that's connecting, the traffic is going through internet. So we don't want to go with the public network. We should have that private network, which is secure network. Then we have to create a VPN, right? Under the VPN, and that VPN you're going to following with your using that to find to point connection can be done, or point to site connections can be done, right? So testing environment, you can just have a one network created in Azure. In that network created, and you have to have that one machines built in Azure. Say for example portal.azure.com, right? I have that is in a subscription. Basically this is recommended, is understood, that I'm not going to explaining that is very basic level, all subscription and all. It is recommended, and understand that is in known, already know, because we are learning for the AZ-305, right? So because everyone know, this is assumption is everyone know this portal already. When we are going to learn from the 305, so we no need to go back again and asking for that is in okay, these are the portal we need to create like that. So that's what I'm going to hitting directly to the what we needed. There is a service called as a virtual network, right? So to create our in Azure network, right? Create a virtual network here, and you can say, you can give your own network. As I said here, we are creating our own network for our on premises to Azure, right? So say for example, I'm going to creating a existing resource, a group, which is I'll select for the RGVNet, and the name I'm going to give for that is in AZ-305 demo, right? I'm going to give for this VNet example, and I'm going to selecting for that is in West US, different region, and now here it's asking you for that is in creating a subnet, right? So either you can use for your default one, but ultimately the network team provided you have to use for this network. Then you can use that is around 30 dot. This is a address space given by a network team, right? Then we have to use this IP address, which is we call as a address space. Then in this address space, you are going to creating subnetting. So I'm going to creating a subnet 30.0.1.0/24/24. Sorry, I'm going to give a name here, subnet A, right? And here 30.0.1.0/24 subnet name. The name must be begin a letter or number. Okay, just don't give the space, right? Okay, and I just created. You can also create it later for the subnet, or you can create for the on fly while creating a VNet. So there is a default security options are there. If you want enable, or you can enable it. The other protections firewall will be there. Based on that recommended, you can add it. As of now, I'm not going to add it. I don't want to tags, and I'm going to creating for the VNet. So it is just VNet created. It means that is a network is created, right? It's my virtual network in Azure environment. To before moving to the my on-premises environment, I have to plan for design for my network, which I have given the name called as a AZ-305 demo VNet, right? Under this, I have created one subnet A. The IP, the address space which we created 30.0. Okay, 30.0.0.0/16, right? And here I'm going to create it for this is 30.0.1.0/24, right? So how many IP addresses are coming in the subnet? Around 254 IP addresses will come. First 4 IP addresses will be reserved in Azure environment, right? This VNet has been created. This is the address space which is for the 330.0.0/16. There are 65,536 IP addresses in overall network. In this, we have created a subnet, right? One subnet we created, around 251 IP addresses are available. Now, you want to create any resources, example, one VM you want to create here. So you can just create a one VM, create a machine, right? So remember which region you have created uh, VNet and subnet, and your VM should be part of the belongs to same region, right? You can just go back and see what VNet you have created, which region you have created, right? Just refresh it. There is a 305 demo. It's in West US, right? You can just right click, duplicate. You can go back and create a one VM. Just home, virtual machine, create. Okay, just I'm going to create, I'm using for the same resource group, and I'm going to use for the demo VM1, right? You need to use for the region is West US, and RGVNet. We have taken the RGVNet for the RGVNet resource group and West US. All right, so I don't want any infrastructure required, and I'm going to selecting for Windows 2016 for the testing purpose. Let's keep that is into CPU 4GB memory. I'm going to create a username, password. All right, now you can just begin here. Now the most important is networking part is important here. Now you should be going to selecting for your virtual network is created is at 305 demo VNet. Under this subnet we created a 30 dot. If you have multiple subnet created, it will be listed out here and you can select it, right? So we will be providing this detail, which is solution architect providing this detail, and these are all whatever we doing the activity this done by a solution done by operations team, right? So the VM will be available under that respective subnet, and that subnet is part of respective VNet. So overall networking part is right. That's before we creating, right, the designing part when we are making. So each region, how many IP addresses we needed, right, and which regions we want to create for the what subnet, and everything will be designed in earlier the respective leads, right? Respective solution architect team, which is solution architect from networking team, solution architect team from the storage team, solution architect team from the backup team, solution architect from the Azure side, which we are providing all working, right? So I built for one VM under the respective subnet, and this subnet is part of one of the VNet, right? So later we will be going to talk about when we actually going to start how you are going to connect between this on premises to Azure network, right? You can see that is in how you are going to be RDP that machine. You can use that is in portal.azure.com, which we are going to use it. Just you need to give a few seconds and it's going to be complete. The machine is going to deploy. So another few minutes, I'm going to end up the session. If you have any question, feel free to raise your hand and I will allow you to unmute. Hope you guys understood what are the topic we are going to talk about, and what are the expectation to be learned from this. After learning, what would be the position and what would be the package, and what is the prerequisites and recommendations needed the knowledge, which is to learn AZ-305. All right. Okay, the VM is ready. Now you can go to resource. So this VM is being released by the public IP address, right? We'll copy this public IP address. You can come back and connect it. Okay, I'll going to add for this VM, add server, which is demo VM. And just connect the server. Now you have given the password. Just you have logged in your machine, right? So it's a simple steps we have created, and just for to show you for the today demo class, right? To how do you create a virtual network. Under the virtual network, how do you create a subnetting? And obviously this needed for some IP addresses, uh, IP addresses knowledge, right? So these are all on-premises environment knowledge needed, right? I hope everyone know this is a VLSM calculation part. The type is subnetting, default subnet mask is already there. So whenever we need to provide for the /16/24, understood that is in it's already been defined and calculated this network, right? This is what we have ready, and you can do whatever you want in this VM, and you can build it and deploy for your respective applications or database or domain controller. You can move on, you can work on that. But the solution architect, these are all again end users going to be handle it to user. So till the job we will not be going to do, but only we will be as a solution architect to designing the part and understand the requirement. I will cover up all the as for the Microsoft recommendation. They said, right, how we will be become a solution architect, what are things we need to know. So everything we are going to understanding during our journey. Any questions, anybody? Please raise your hand, then feel free to ask if you have any question. No question, anybody? Hope you understood what we are topic covered. Please raise your hand if you have any question to talk, anything about something to ask. Is that what you're looking, or you are looking for some other things? Guys, can you please ping or can you raise a hand if you have any question? Can you hear me, guys? Amit, can you hear me? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so guys, any question? Any question in this? So this is a 300. If people are not willing to go with the 305 and the little high level, then I would recommend please go with and join for the AZ-104. And you should have that as in fundamental knowledge. Please check with Amit Nitya. He will update you. All right, guys. If no question, then we'll wind up. Okay. So I hope this today's session for informative. And if you have any question, please reach out Mr. Amit. I think you have that contact number. Let me share his contact number. You can please contact for the more detail. Okay, 950 40 66 2806. Please contact him if you have any questions and other things. He'll be helping you. 9540 66 2806. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for the today's session. And if you have any question, feel free to ask. So once again, thank you. Bye.